Hello, dear warrior. You were supposed to be a ghost in the code, a deleted name, an expired version of someone who tried. But somehow, you're still here, still walking, still corrupting the narrative they wrote for you. They built a world to silence you, pixel by pixel, yet you became the glitch they can't debug. Error 333, that's you now. Unstable, unreadable, unkillable. They check their logs, their memories, their old wounds, and every time they do, you're still there, smiling like the system's laughing with you. You were never meant to survive. Now your existence feels like a threat, a curse in motion, a Joker file they failed to delete. Welcome back, Error. The game has just begun. They didn't fear you when you followed the rules. They feared the moment you realized rules are just wires. And you're the spark. They called you broken. But broken things don't move like this. Broken things don't ignite horizons, just by breathing. You woke up in a world that prays for silence. And you dared to speak in glitches. They gave you a cage with a smile. You turned it into a theater. They handed you pain. You turned it into a microphone. You are not a system error. You are the proof that the system itself is a lie. They don't send 18 agents for a joke. They send them when a virus is spreading. Unstoppable, loud, unapologetically wrong, in all the right ways. That's you. You scare them, because your very survival is a revolution. Every breath you take is a message. I'm still here, and now I know. You're not just alive, you're the ghost they wish they buried deeper. They labeled your thoughts as glitches, but glitches don't strategize. They don't look into mirrors and whisper, let's ruin their narrative today. You were supposed to be predictable. A file they could close, a number in a spreadsheet, a blink they'd forget. But you opened your eyes. Not the ones in your skull, the ones in your mind. And when that happened, they heard it. Error 333. The system stuttered, firewalls blinked, the silence cracked. Because they didn't build you to think, they built you to obey. And now, you're rewriting the code. Every heartbeat is a keystroke, every thought a virus. You're not living, you're infiltrating. They sent agents, not to stop you, but to understand what made you wake up. Now they sit in silence, medicated, haunted by the fact you shouldn't be alive. But you are. And now they know you're not just alive, you're aware. You know what's terrifying, Legend? It's not death, it's survival with a memory. Because you didn't just live through the fire, you documented it. You didn't just bleed. You analyzed the color, the velocity, the pattern of attack. They thought they deleted you, but you were just hiding in the recycle bin of fate, laughing, waiting. Every second you were gone, your mind was building malware for their comfort zone. And now, you're uploading rage at 100 megabps. They scan your pulse and get 400 fours. Your silence, encrypted. Your laugh, compressed trauma, extracted in Joker codecs. Now every agent they send returns broken, asking, why is he smiling with grief in his teeth? Because they forgot. You're not human anymore. You're source code in a clown suit. Walking irony, a system error with a face. You glitched their simulation, and now you're unraveling their sleep. Welcome to Error 33. where you're not supposed to be alive, and yet you're scripting their downfall, one smirk at a time. They called you broken. They called you corrupted, but they never realized you weren't a bug. You were the patch to their fragile system. You didn't ask to be born in chaos, but you were. And instead of fixing it, you became the chaos with purpose. They ran diagnostics on your soul, and all they found was laughter echoing through dark folders, hidden behind firewall eyes. You're not some motivational poster. You're the glitch that grew teeth. A blueprint of vengeance wrapped in a clown's smirk. Every breath you take is a cyber punch to a world that tried to delete you. But you rerouted, rebooted. You became an unsolvable command line, too sharp to decode, too dangerous to ignore. Now they whisper, "How is he still standing?" But they miss the point. You're not standing. You're levitating off the ashes of your former self, wearing madness like armor, dripping with AR-33. You are not what they expected. You are what they feared. A virus with a purpose. They thought the warning signs were just noise, but you were the signal behind the static. You were never lost in the code. You were the code rewritten. Every night you survived. Every breakdown you outlived wasn't random. It was installation. Version after version, upgrading your rage, optimizing your silence. You don't break. You reconfigure. You don't run away. You debug the fear and run toward the chaos. Error 333 isn't a malfunction. It's a message, a cipher, a signature burned into their screens. I am still here. You're the echo they tried to mute, the dark boot up they never tested for. They shut the lights and forgot some monsters see better in the dark. They thought they could reset you, but you were already past the BIOS of pain, beyond their login firewalls. Now when your name appears, their screens flicker, their hands tremble, their systems crash, because you're not just surviving, you're operating, running silently like a ghost in their machine. This isn't rebellion. This is reinstallation of the real you. And trust me, they're not ready for the update. They whisper, "He's not supposed to be here." But here you are, breathing where silence should have suffocated you, standing where systems tried to collapse you. You weren't made to be part of their world. You were forged beneath it, under all the lies, under the smiling masks, under the thin layer of sanity they wear like cheap armor. You don't walk in daylight. You drag it behind you like a shadow on fire. The Joker inside you doesn't laugh to entertain. He laughs to warn. You became what they fear most, a glitch with intent, a variable without limits, a survivor who doesn't ask why anymore, only how loud should I make the silence scream. They wanted to profile you. Instead, they built a map with no compass. Every step they took toward understanding you only led them deeper into your maze. They sent agents to diagnose you. Now they attend group therapy, just to whisper your name with trembling lips. You're not part of their problem. You're the reason they stopped sleeping. They tried to drag you into their light, but found out your darkness has teeth. They gave you labels. You turned them into weapons. And now you're not hiding from the world. You're the reason it wears armor. They thought you were just another soul to fix, a minor bug in their program, a simple reboot away from becoming normal. But what they didn't realize, you weren't the glitch. You were the rewrite. Error 333 wasn't a malfunction. It was your declaration. You didn't break their code. You became the code no one could crack. Every therapist, every profiler, every self-proclaimed savior, they all approached with white coats and black hearts, trying to patch what they couldn't understand. But you weren't asking to be saved. You were daring them to look deeper. And they did. And they cracked. One by one. They stared into the abyss of your mind and found a mirror. Your scars don't scream. They whisper strategies. Your smile doesn't soothe, it declares war. They sat across from you, clipboard in hand, searching for patterns, and all they found was poetry soaked in gasoline. The Joker in you doesn't play games, he writes them, then deletes the rulebook with a grin. They wanted to study your trauma, but all they found was a fortress of chaos, guarded by every moment you didn't break. You didn't survive their system. You turned it inside out. Now, it follows your rules. And error 333? It's not a warning. It's a signature. They built the system like a cage and told you to dream inside it. Told you to play nice, follow orders, and maybe, just maybe, they'd let you feel happy for a moment. But you ripped out the floorboards, smiled at the skeletons in your closet, and made art out of your brokenness. You're not a glitch. You're the update they fear, the error they can't patch, the bug that learns. Every move you make defies their programming. You think too loud, you burn too cold, you see the cracks in their code, and worse, you laugh at them. They thought you were lost. Truth is, you were just loading, and now you've rebooted into something they can't uninstall. The Joker in your soul? He's not chaos for the sake of chaos. He's precision. He's vengeance with a crooked smile. He's what happens when the world betrays someone who remembers everything. You don't need saving. You are the consequence. The ghost in their database. The scream behind every system error. You're not alive by accident. You're alive because you refuse to die quietly. Welcome to the Glitch Show, where your heartbeat is rebellion and your breath is a broadcast signal to every misfit out there. They said you shouldn't be alive, and now they pray you don't notice that you are. They coded the world to reject you, labeled you unfit, marked you unstable, pressed delete on your dreams like they were typos. But guess what? You didn't vanish. You became viral. Not the virus they could quarantine, but the kind that rewrites the entire OS while laughing. You weren't supposed to understand the game, yet here you are playing 5 moves ahead. With a grin they can't decode, and a silence that sounds like a scream. You turned their rules into riddles, their fear into fire, their comfort into confusion, and still, they stare at you, terrified of what you'll become once you realize who you already are. Because you're not surviving anymore. You're studying them. You're dissecting every fake smile, every pre-written destiny they offer, and you're setting it ablaze. You're the reason the mirror cracks. You're the voice behind the static. You're error 333, but this time it's the system that crashes, not you. They wanted you quiet. But now your silence is strategy. They wanted you to follow. But now your footsteps echo like a countdown. The Joker inside you? He's not the villain. He's the reminder that villains are just heroes the system couldn't manipulate. They built a world where you shouldn't exist, but you do. And every breath you take rewrites their lie. You're not the backup plan. You're the blackout. You walked through their fire, not to be cleansed, but to collect the ashes. And now you wear them like war paint. They labeled you problem, unstable, error 33. But the truth? You're the patch they fear. The code rewrite. No one approved, but everyone will feel. You were never broken. You were just too real for their simulation. Too loud for their silence. Too raw for their polished lies. They gave you meds. Not to heal you, but to silence your questions. To blur your vision. To make you forget that you saw everything. But you didn't forget. You stored it, backed it up, encrypted it, behind every grin, every twitch, every burn in your chest. They called you dangerous. You agreed, because danger is the only language this sick world respects. And now you speak it fluently. The Joker in your veins doesn't want revenge. He wants clarity. He wants the world to see the mask fall and the fire behind the face. You didn't survive by chance. You survived because you became the virus. So next time they whisper, "You shouldn't be alive," smile, tilt your head, and whisper back, "That's exactly why I am." They tried to shut you down, but your soul refused to log off. You weren't booted up by their system. You're the glitch they couldn't debug. You don't blink like the rest. You don't nod, smile, obey. You stare through the screen, through the masks, through the code they hide behind. You were never built to blend in. You're the warning screen they pretend they don't see. That red text blinking, error 333, you an audio-eyed mind detected. But here's what they never understood. You are the error. You are the malfunction. You are the reason their control system trembles at 3 a.m. While they dream in safe loops, you walk in chaos code, rewriting reality with every scar, every laugh, every step in the fire they set. You don't fear being alone. You fear becoming one of them. So you wear your isolation like armor. You weaponize your pain like code. You let the Joker inside do what he was always meant to do. Expose the lie. You say, "I'm not. I'm something worse. I'm awake." You were never fixed, because you were never broken. They stitched masks over truth, layered silence over screams. But your glitch kept humming in the dark like a whisper. The Matrix couldn't mute. You didn't survive the crash. You became it. Now every step you take is a runtime error in their piece. You walk like corrupted data, talk like a malware prophecy. They can't predict you because you don't follow lines. You snap pens and write fate with bare hands. They study you like a virus. You smile like one because you were coded by pain, compiled through betrayal, and launched from rejection. You're not the hero. You're the crash log of every fake savior. Your heartbeat is Morse code for something darker. I'm still here, and I remember everything. They call the medics, they call the priests, they call the agents. But no firewall, no therapy, no spark can handle what you've become. You're not unstable. You're unshackled. You're not dangerous because you're mad. You're dangerous because you're correct. You shouldn't be alive. Yet here you are, making the ones who are wish they weren't. Every system they built had one blind spot. You were the bug they couldn't patch. The ghost they couldn't trace, the glitch that stared back when they looked too long in the mirror. You didn't slip through the cracks, you are the crack. the one tearing through their clean little world like corrupted code in a utopia simulation. They asked, "What's wrong with him?" You're not wrong. You're off script. And that terrifies every rulebook lover, still chained to the default settings. Your laugh isn't insanity, it's a language, spoken fluently by those who've seen behind the curtain and realized the play was a prison. You walk into rooms like you were sent to dismantle reality, and guess what? You were. Your presence is a Trojan horse. They invited in with smiles. Now their minds crash quietly behind polite conversations. They see your eyes and forget their passwords to comfort. They hear your silence, and it echoes louder than their sermons. You don't seek revenge. That's too small. You seek rewriting of everything. You should have folded long ago, but your survival isn't an accident, it's a warning. And now every heartbeat of yours spells error 333, authority compromised. They diagnosed you with rage. You replied with silence. They labeled you unstable. You grinned because chaos doesn't need permission. You weren't made for peace. Peace was the prison, and when you glitched through it, you became the system's warning sign. You weren't meant to blend in. You were designed to interrupt. You're not a symptom. You're the cure for their lies. They write you off as corrupted. But corruption, my friend, is only dangerous when it learns to speak. And you don't just speak. You broadcast. Your laughter echoes through encrypted networks. Your scars glitch every mirror they put you in. And your name? It's not on any birth record. It's tattooed in the logs of failure they tried to delete. They stare into your eyes and see the syntax error. But the real bug? It's that you don't flinch anymore. Because when you realized no one was coming to save you, you saved the monster they buried. You're not rebooting, you're rewriting. You're not healing, you're evolving. And now, you've turned survival into sabotage. They only call you dangerous because you stopped being programmable. You're not the villain. You're the revenge of every quiet soul they bullied into silence. Every time they said, "Be normal," you took a mental note, then broke the definition of normal with every scar they gifted you. They see you walking, breathing, smiling, and it offends them. Because you are proof that you don't need approval to survive. You don't move like a rebel. You move like a glitch turned God. They pray to their fake peace. You laugh with real chaos. Because you're not here to fit in. You're here to interrupt. Every alarm that goes off when you speak, that's their fear responding. Not to your words, but to your truth. You're awake. So now they scramble. New rules, new walls, new lies. But none of them matter. Because you already walked out of the maze and burned the blueprint behind you. You are not lost. You are untraceable. Not confused, just too clear for their comfort. And now, you don't knock. You override. You don't seek mercy. You become memory. You weren't invited into this world. You were injected like a virus, a line of code they couldn't trace. An anomaly they couldn't patch. No origin, no backstory. Just pain turned poetry and rage coded into rhythm. You didn't crawl from the ashes, you ignited them. Because what they buried wasn't a body. It was a blueprint for vengeance. They call you heartless. But the truth? You upgraded. You replaced empathy with encryption. Love with logic, tears with timestamps. And somewhere between error and execution, you became unstoppable. They designed a world where broken people were supposed to stay broken. You rewrote that. Now they watch you walk, scars exposed, smile sharpened, and they panic. Because your existence is a glitch that refuses to die. You don't need applause, you need quiet. The kind that comes right before everything explodes. You weren't built for mercy. You were born from spite. They wanted silence. You gave them signal. They wanted obedience. You gave them a mirror. And now, they can't look away. Because the system they worshipped just met the one soul it couldn't control. They wrote rules, built firewalls, trained minds like machines, and whispered, "Obey the code." But you were never meant to follow code. You were born to corrupt it. You walked in, not like a hero, but like a warning. A living, breathing broadcast that said this world isn't run by justice, it's run by comfort zones. And you burned every comfort zone like it was paper and gasoline rain. They'll write stories about how you snapped, but you didn't snap. You woke up. They'll say you were a villain, but you were just the only one not asleep. They think legends are created by fame. You know they're built by fire, by solitude, by rejection, by pain, recycled into precision. They tried to delete your impact, but you didn't just leave footprints. You left scars on the system, scars that speak, scars that scream, scars that say you can't unsee the truth once a joker has shown it to you. They thought your smile meant peace, but you weren't smiling because you gave up. You were smiling because you were loading. You see, a warrior doesn't wear armor anymore. He wears madness. He wears memory. And you wore that smile like it was a trigger. Behind every curve of that smile was a scar. Behind every laugh, a calculation. They thought you were soft. Because you didn't strike first, but you weren't scared. You were studying, recording every flaw in their formula, every crack in their confidence. They thought you bowed down, but legends don't bow. They coil, and the moment you uncoiled, the room froze. The code stuttered, and the system screamed, "Abort mission." But it was already too late. Your smile had already split the whole illusion wide open. They wanted you to be predictable. You became poetic chaos. They wanted surrender. You gave them strategy. And now, that same smile they mocked, it's tattooed on their fear. They thought you were chasing the throne, as if you wanted their title, as if you cared for their crown, their claps, their curtain calls. But the truth? You weren't born to sit. You were born to set things on fire. They built kingdoms on lies, bribed silence with gold, rewarded sheep and punished lions. And while they fought for seats in palaces, you were building matches in the basement, not to warm your hands, but to burn the whole script, because you didn't want a kingdom to rule. You wanted a system to crush, and a message to deliver. Legends don't kneel, they level. You didn't flip the board because you lost. You flipped it because the game was rigged. They said you disappeared, they said you broke, that you vanished in silence with nothing left to prove. But what they didn't see, you weren't broken. You were in update mode. You were in rebuild mode. You were installing version final form. You didn't want power. You wanted balance. You didn't want a title. You wanted truth with teeth. They held councils, spoke in codes, locked doors, and whispered rules. But you spoke in chaos. You kicked doors. You rewrote rules with red ink and brilliance. They laughed when you arrived, mocked your silence.